Today we're gonna really test out building with the new sleek bathroom kit that just came out a couple days ago. Now there is a very high chance that you haven't even heard about this kit yet because there have been so many kits recently that it's basically impossible to keep track of all of them. But I am talking about Cibulette's new sleek bathroom kit. It's a custom content creator kit, so the entire thing was made by a CC creator. You might remember the other couple packs that have been like that. Most recently we had the refined living room kit, and before that we had the cozy kitsch kit, which I think are two of the best build kits that we've ever gotten. So this one is in pretty good company, and I think it's a really solid pack. Obviously it's a kit, which is like some immediate points off, but for a kit it is really nice. It's got a lot of really fancy bathroom stuff. So we've got a beautiful new tile, maybe one of the best tiles in the entire game. There's a really cool piece of shower glass. We've got a new tub, there's a bath mat, there's some bathroom clutter. I know we already have a bathroom kit. We have that bathroom clutter kit, but this one feels kind of like cutesy family bathroom. It's kind of messy. There's like dirty towels. This is the opposite. This is like modern rich person's bathroom energy. So I want to try and build something that kind of matches that vibe, something pretty modern and for someone who is very wealthy. And I never build on penthouse lots. It's probably my least used lot type in the entire game. We got some in City Living, and we also got a couple ones recently in Love Struck. So I was thinking that we could try and build it up here on this 20 by 20 penthouse lot. I think this is one of my favorite neighborhoods and definitely one of my favorite worlds, but I just like how close together all of these four lots are. And it's really cool how a couple of them are super high up. So I need to make more of an effort to use this place, but we're gonna try and build it here. I just ask that you trust the process a little bit because we all know that I am not the most comfortable building modern houses and definitely not with building penthouses, but I promise it turns out really cool. This, I think, is my favorite penthouse that I've ever built. So let's just jump right into the game and I'll kind of walk you through what we built. Now, the first thing was to try and figure out the shape of the building. And I had this idea of keeping the full thing in the back corner and then using the front to have like a pool and maybe a bar and a grill and sort of like some outdoor space in the front there. So I just built these two big boxes around the whole back corner, and then I kind of took away some parts of the walls to add in balconies and make it a little bit less boxy and a more interesting shape. It's definitely looking really weird right now, which is why I asked you to trust the process. It ends up being kind of an odd, very long and skinny building. Dare I say, it almost looks a little bit like a horseshoe because it's kind of like shaped like this. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, then you probably know about the Pent horse, the penthouse where I lived with my Sims horse in the sky. I lived there for a long time in my legacy challenge a few months ago, and I cannot think about or build penthouses now without thinking about that Pent horse. And then when I built this, I was live on my Twitch channel, and everybody, like the entire chat was nonstop like, well, where's the horse gonna go? Like, there's no space for the horse anymore, Kayla. We were all kind of just laughing about it, and then we get to the very end, and I'm like, oh my god, the place looks like a horseshoe. I didn't even do it on purpose, but like, I can't escape it. The Pent horse is so deeply ingrained that I don't even realize I'm doing it. But that's kind of a broad overview of the shape. The next thing you're gonna see me doing for a while is just trying to figure out where we're gonna put all of these balconies and like how we're gonna make it less flat. I struggled a lot with the front of it. It's weird because I was kind of trying to add in a front door, but the thing is you don't really need a front door on penthouses because they don't like spawn in right there. Nobody's gonna walk up and knock on your door. It doesn't need to be outside. The real front door of a penthouse is the elevator. So once I kind of dropped the vision of wanting to have a front door on the patio, it came together a little bit easier. I have this desire to make it feel like a normal house, even though it's just not. Like, it can't be a normal house, it's in the sky. And if you're not familiar with penthouses, what I mean by the front door being the elevator is that is where Sims will spawn when they load into the lot. So the elevator is one of the required objects for this lot, and then if you have like the mail delivered, or if you order food and someone brings you a pizza, those Sims will spawn at the elevator. Same as like your sim getting home from work or school, or if like somebody comes over to visit, they spawn at the elevator. So you have to treat that like your front door. Oftentimes when I make penthouses, for that reason, I'll kind of like lock the elevator in a little hallway and then put a fake front door from there. Because I don't love the idea of like the pizza delivery person showing up in my living room, but I didn't do that here. I just had the elevator kind of in the middle of the room. So I'm sorry if that bothers you. If you play on this lot, you might have some random Sims just showing up inside your house, but they kind of do that anyway. The game is kind of glitched, so it kind of just happens no matter what. So why not make it easier for them, right? And then as far as the color scheme goes, we're kind of starting to figure out the wallpaper and the window colors now. I wanted to go for like a darker color scheme. I kind of wanted the place to be sort of dark and moody. I was basing it a little bit off of the building that we're sitting on top of because I wanted it to at least slightly match. I didn't want to make the same exact thing, but I wanted it to kind of have similar vibes to that building so it didn't look completely out of place. So I used black windows everywhere to match the other windows downstairs. And then we have a mixture of like a stucco wallpaper, a dark black brick, and also a wood paneling texture. And then I kind of tried to carry that color scheme inside. So we have a lot of dark colors, that black brick, the wood accents, and also a lot of plants because I put some plants on the walls outside. I really liked that greenery that it added, especially because you don't have a yard on this lot. So I was trying to find ways to incorporate some more plants. I didn't want it to just be all concrete everywhere because that's kind of sad. I also kept calling the pool that I have in the front there an infinity pool, even though it is not an infinity pool. An infinity pool is when they have like that glass edge and you can see it from the outside. This one obviously doesn't have a glass edge or anything. And also that pool kind of makes no sense because below it, it looks like there's an apartment with like windows into it, but that's the pool. So you kind of just have to suspend your disbelief a little bit when you're building penthouses in The Sims 4. It's the only way that it makes sense. We can't get too hung up on realism with this because this is not how things work in real life at all with the penthouse. I am definitely one to try and make my builds realistic, but this is the kind of thing that you just can't even bother with. But while I'm trying to work on this, I think now is maybe a good time for a little life update because I have the most exciting news. Well, some of you are gonna care, the rest of you are gonna be like, what are you talking about? But as many of you know, I live in Orlando, and growing up in Orlando, I have always been somewhat of a theme park fan. And that's probably an understatement. I'm a big fan of theme parks. I was lucky to grow up like living near Disney and Universal and stuff, so I've always been very interested in them. I watch a lot of theme park vlogs. I just think it's really cool. And Universal is opening a third theme park. It's kind of a big deal because there hasn't been a major theme park opened in the US in like over 20 years. And it's here. It's like right near where I live. So for the past few years, I've been watching all of these like drone videos of construction and like theory videos of how it's gonna be. I have been a little bit obsessed with the whole concept of this Epic Universe theme park that's opening. Opening day is in May, so it's still not open yet, but they've kind of started their previews. They did their first influencer preview last weekend, and they've been doing team member previews so that employees can bring like family and friends in to see it over the past couple weeks. Well, my sister's friend works for Epic Universe, and when he found out how big of a fan I am of theme parks, he was like, do you want to come with us when we go? Because he got 8 tickets. So he brought like all of their friends and me. So I got to go to Epic Universe this week. So unbelievably nice of him. Like, he did not have to do that, but I went there with my sister and her friends, had the time of my life. Honestly, like, core memory, truly one of the best days ever. It was so cool. And like, to get to go before it's actually open and when it's still just in previews and it's not really crowded because it's not open yet, that was such an amazing experience. I just feel so grateful and so lucky. If you haven't ever seen it before, you should look up like a video or maybe like a picture of the map or something just to give you an idea. But basically the center of the park has this like almost botanical garden-esque vibe with this beautiful landscaping and these big giant fountains. It's like a park. It doesn't feel like a theme park. It feels like a park in the middle. And then around the outsides, they have these portals that go to different worlds. Like you have Nintendo World and like the Dark Universe monster themed one. There's a How to Train Your Dragon one. And you literally walk through a portal. Like it looks like a portal that you walk through to get into the world. And it's so cool because you don't even see anything from the world until you're in it. Like you can't see Nintendo World from the outside and you can't see the outside from inside a Nintendo World. So it feels like you're going through a portal and like literally appearing in this new place. They did such a good job with it. I was just like amazed by how impressive it all was. I got to ride a Donkey Kong themed roller coaster. They have this giant like racing roller coaster called Stardust Racers that is so good. And I waited like 25 minutes to go on those rides. Brand new rides in this massive brand new theme park. Seriously, best day ever. I had so much fun. Universal, if you are watching this, if you happen to do another influencer preview, I am not a theme park creator, but I could become one. I would go again if you wanted me to. Just let me know. I am available. Although actually I'm not really gonna be available soon. In May, I'm booked. If you have anything in April, I can make that work. I do a massive fundraiser every year for the entire month of May over on my Twitch channel, and I literally stream every single day, sometimes more than once a day. So May, probably not gonna work for me. But if you've got anything sooner, it actually kind of scares me thinking about going to an influencer event for a theme park like that, because I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to vlog. I don't really make content like that, so I would feel really out of my element trying to do that. So maybe I'm not being serious. I don't know. I am always down to try new things, I guess. But we should talk about the Sims build for a second. Let's get back on topic for a minute. So right now we're trying to figure out the floor plan, and what you're watching me do at this current moment is just trying to rearrange and place a bunch of furniture down so I can visualize what I want to do and where I want to put everything. I don't intend to use these colors or these cabinets. I don't intend to have 2 kitchens. I just was trying to see where I wanted to put that kitchen. It helps me to place some items just so I can see the scale a bit more. What I ended up doing is having the living room on that big side where the rug is right now. I put the kitchen on the far right side, and then we had the dining table kind of in the middle. You'll also see that we have a bedroom downstairs, and then upstairs there's 2 more rooms. And while I was yapping about Epic Universe, you probably watched me place the stairs and then remove the stairs and then place them again and do it over and over and over again. The stairs were a real process for me to figure out on this build because I really wanted to have a big open area above the stairs. And for a little bit there, I was thinking it might be kind of cool if we put 2 staircases in and kind of had like 2 separate sides of the building, but I just couldn't really get it to work right how I wanted it to go. So I scrapped that, and then I wasn't sure if I liked how this part above the stairs looked because I didn't like how the hallway was like a corner. So eventually you'll see that I'm gonna replace it with like a little rounded fence piece. It just took me some time to get there. We spent a while moving stuff around and swapping out ideas. I also made kind of a cool divider thing using those new screen dividers from the sleek bathroom kit, and I put a half wall at the bottom of them. I thought this part looked really cool. So that's like right next to the elevator where your Sims are gonna spawn. And then I have like a piano and kind of a cute little formal entryway space right there in the middle of the building. I saw some questions in my Twitch chat when I was trying to figure this out about why I didn't just put a second elevator in instead of the stairs. So I figured some people here might be wondering that too. And unfortunately, you can't do that in The Sims 4. You can't have more than 1 elevator on a lot. And the elevators aren't functional. Like, the elevators don't actually work to go up and down like how we think an elevator should. Because you would assume, oh, it's an elevator, you can use it to go up. But in The Sims, the elevator works more like a spawn point. It doesn't move, it doesn't help your Sim teleport, it doesn't do anything like that. It literally is just a spawn point for where your Sims load on the lot. After all this time, we still do not have functional elevators in The Sims 4. I don't understand why. It makes no sense. I think that was a huge missed opportunity in both City Living and For Rent, and yet they didn't do it. So that's why I didn't place a second elevator. It literally won't let you. Like, if you try and place one, it's like you can't have more than 1 elevator on this lot. And there are some ways that you can work around it. Like, you can try and be sneaky and like place the elevator in a room and then duplicate the room, and it will let you have a second one then. But when you try and go out of build mode, it's like, you can't leave build mode, your lot is broken. You can't have more than 1 elevator. So it just doesn't work. There might be mods to give you more than 1 and like elevator mods, but I don't really play with that many mods, so I'm not super familiar with them. Now that we've finally figured out that floor plan and set everything up, we're actually starting to furnish. Halfway through the video, we're finally getting into furniture. And I felt like it was the most appropriate to start with the bathroom because the entire build is inspired by this bathroom kit. So this is like the downstairs hall bathroom. This is like the one that everybody in the house will probably use. And you can see we've got a really cool shower built into the wall over there and kind of like sunken down a little bit. I also have a toilet closet separate. We've got double sinks. There's a beautiful tub, and it's very dark in here with this dark blue tile. That kind of sets the tone for the rest of the build. We're gonna have a lot of those dark colors pretty much everywhere. There were some people in the Twitch chat that didn't like the dark colors very much, and I understand. Like, I know it's kind of an acquired taste to have all this dark colors everywhere. People kept being like, maybe you could put some brighter colors. Maybe you could use some more color in the build. But I was doing it like this on purpose, so I'm just warning you, it will be kind of dark, but I don't think that it's not colorful. It's just dark looking. It's dark colors. I think our speed build next week is gonna be very colorful, so hopefully that makes it up to you. But next to this bathroom on the left, we have the kitchen, and the right side is gonna be like a teen's bedroom. We'll decorate that bedroom last, so bear with me. Takes us a little bit to get to that point. But we're starting in the kitchen, and this is definitely where that darker color scheme really comes in. I used the Home Chef Hustle counters in here, and I was getting so frustrated because these counters and upper cabinets right now are the same swatch. It does not look like it. There's a really weird lighting situation going on where they look like completely different colors, but they're the same color. It's the same gray swatch. It just looks so strange. I think that obviously the upper cabinets always have some lighting bugs on them, but I think that these were really effective protected by that rounded fence piece that I have in the other room. So I didn't help myself by using that. The game does not like round stuff, so I definitely made it worse that way. When it was closed into a different room, the lighting bug wasn't affecting it anymore. I was kind of annoyed by that because I didn't want to have to put an archway into it, but the arch is so big that it kind of looks like it's not really an arch, so I think it was fine. I love the giant windows in this kitchen. Like, the view from this kitchen would be so cool. Just sat there washing your dishes, looking out these giant windows. I also ended up swapping the tiny window on the end to be a door. So there's like a big sliding door to get outside from the living room, plus a tiny glass door, or I guess like a big glass panel door to get outside from the kitchen. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work because I had to move the curtains over for it, but I think it's okay to have 2 panels of curtain on the one side because it makes sense. Like, in real life, you might drag the curtains all over to one side instead. I'm picturing in real life, those curtains would probably be automatic. Like, think about how expensive and fancy this house is. They probably have one of those, like, press a button and the curtains draw closed. You can press a button and the blinds come down. I think that would be so cool. I've never actually seen anything like that in real life before, but I have seen videos of it and it looks very impressive. And like I said, if anybody was gonna have it, it would be these Sims. They have definitely installed some nice curtains in here. Now, next to the kitchen space, we have that entryway area that I was telling you about where the elevator enters into. In this area, I put the mailbox. I ended up moving the trash chute to be in the kitchen for easy access, and then we just have a piano and like some chairs in there. I also put some cute stuff up in this hallway, like some big bookshelves with some clutter in it. I used a lot of packs in this build. I was really embarrassed when I saw how many there were. My goal was to use packs because I wanted to try and see how it worked with other items, but I did not realize I had used like 3 full pages of packs until I put it on the gallery, and I was like, oh my god, there's like 40 packs in this build. Obviously, the main pack that I was using was the sleek bathroom kit, but I used a lot of the refined living room kit as well, plus some expansion packs like Love Struck and stuff like that. Well, not just Love Struck. Basically every expansion pack is in this build. So through this doorway, you can kind of see a little door and then a tiny balcony outside of it. I ended up making that into like a little garden area, so I put some planter boxes out there towards the end. That's one thing I did like about this build, is that it had so many little secret outdoor spaces and so many balconies, so I was able to fit in a lot of different skill building objects here. I have like almost all of the skill building objects in here. You can swim, you can garden, I've got an easel. I put even a Murphy bed upstairs. That's not a skill object, but it's something. It's something special to have. Oh, I also used Don Lothario's kit. This one, I felt bad about this because like, why did I have to do that? But it matched so well. So I put Don Lothario's kit TV along that whole back wall in the living room because it was like the perfect size. Feels like a movie theater in this living room. And it's really dark, I know. This is kind of where it became super dark in here. I also had a weird mixture of gray and brown, and I don't know if that was a super good idea because it's a lot of mixing of cool and warm tones, but I think it's interesting, and I think that the rug helped tie it all together. We also have the Modern Luxe kit in here because I used the dining chairs from it, and I got a lot of questions about this plant, or I guess it's like 4 plants. That item is from Growing Together. It's like a little array of different plants. So I put that in the corner over there. One of the other questions that I saw a lot in the Twitch chat was about the mirror, because I kept trying to use the wavy mirror from the new kit. It's really cute. It's kind of like a smaller and maybe more like upscale version of the wavy mirror from Jesse's kit. Pastel Pop comes with like kind of a cutesy wavy mirror, but that one's a little bit more modern and like colorful. This one from the sleek bathroom kit is also wavy, but it has like metal frame and it's not as big. Well, I kept trying to put it places, but I just felt like it didn't quite fit on those walls because it looked kind of weird when it was blocked by the plant. So I didn't manage to fit it downstairs, but I did use it upstairs. And a lot of the chat was like, well, Kayla, what if you just sized it up? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, but we can't, like, you can't size up mirrors. There are a few items in this game that you cannot size up or size down. It like physically does not work. And mirrors are one of them. I mean, it lets you size them up, but the problem is the glass sizes up and gets really big. The frame stays where it is, and you kind of have like this weird hole in the wall situation. It like makes a gap. It's very strange. Windows do the same thing and kind of break on the wall like that. And you also can't size up or down anything that has an animation. So like maybe a fountain with the water. If you size up the fountain, the fountain part, the stone will size up, but the water stays where it is. Or if you try to size down a candle, you can make the candle smaller, but the flame will stay where it was before. You can't can't edit the animations like that. So those types of things you can't really touch with the bracket keys. It's kind of annoying, but I guess it makes sense that it does that. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear this, but they just started doing some construction outside, like literally just started in the middle of this video. I feel like I can feel my house buzzing, but it's not even my house, it's in the road. They've been doing a ton of construction on our road. They even broke my internet by doing it. That was really annoying. I had like no internet for a week because of this. And it wasn't that I had no internet, it's that I had really spotty internet. I would get like one up for like 20 minutes and then I would have no internet. Then it would come back for a little bit, then I would have no internet. With internet speeds that low, you basically have no internet. I would do an upload speed test and I would get like 0.37 up. You can't even like send a Discord message with that. Trust me, I know, because it wouldn't let me send Discord messages. So that was a couple weeks ago at this point, but I'm a little bit annoyed at the construction because it's been causing me so many problems. Anyway, speaking of outside, we're working on the outdoor section of this build now. We're trying to decorate the patio. So the first thing I did was put like a little bar and grill in the back corner. I really wanted to have that because I have been trying so hard to fit bars into my builds more often recently. I feel like I keep mentioning this, but I never play with the mixology skill. So I'm trying to like force myself to use it more by trying to put bars in places more. And so often when I build, I'll like make a really beautiful house and then realize, oh, my sim needs a mixology skill. And then I have to try and find a place to add a bar in after the fact, and it just doesn't look very good. So I'm trying to build houses with the bars in mind intentionally instead. And I also just like to have grills because it's kind of fun to make stuff on them. I didn't put a pizza oven on this build and I should have. I kind of forgot about that. Sometimes when I make little outdoor kitchens like this, I'll use the pizza oven from Home Chef Hustle, but I didn't. If you download this and you have Home Chef Hustle, you should put the pizza oven on the counter next to the grill. I love the pizza oven. It is kind of annoying because your Sims autonomously use it to cook so much. I have one in my Legacy Challenge save right now, and it's like literally nonstop. More than once a day, somebody goes outside and makes a pizza, and they often don't take the pizza out when it's done. They just leave it in there to spoil. And I don't even always realize they did it until the oven starts stinking. But I do like the item, and I like the recipes, and it's easy to cook in. So it's one of my favorite packs, Home Chef Hustle, even if my Sims like to spoil stuff with it. It's not just that pack that has that problem though. All of the small kitchen appliances, even the coffee makers, oh, don't even get me started on the coffee makers. I don't even bother to use them anymore. I actually don't like it when I have them in my builds because my Sims never drink the coffee. And it gives you very little benefit. You get like the tiniest little energy boost, but most often they make coffee autonomously, don't have time to drink it, or worse, they try and drink coffee instead of sleeping at night when they could just go to bed. They know they're tired and they're like, oh, I'm gonna make coffee. Why? Why would you do that? Just go to bed so I can like speed through the night. Well, they make the coffee, don't drink it, leave it in there, coffee pot spoils. So I just always have a pot of spoiled coffee in my Sims houses when I use the coffee maker, so I don't use it anymore. I don't like it. It's like fun in theory, but with Sim behavior for it, I can't use it. Same as laundry. I did put laundry in this house. I cut it out from the speed build, but I'll show you when we get to the tour at the end. When I put laundry in my builds, I have to be very intentional and very specific with how I do it because playing with laundry is so annoying. Not because it's hard work to do laundry, but because the Sims behavior with the washer and dryers is just so frustrating. It's like they don't know how to carry their dirty clothes into the laundry room. So I'll try and have them wash laundry and they just like drop it on the floor instead of going upstairs with it. It takes me queuing the interaction like 4 times just to get them to wash a load of laundry. So when I do play with washers and dryers, I only put 1 hamper, maybe 2, and I always put them directly next to the washing machine. Maybe in real life, it's better to have the hamper like in your bedroom, in the bathroom, in the other bedroom, not in the Sims. You need that hamper to be as close to the laundry as humanly possible. Otherwise, it's unbearable and not worth playing with. There are just some things that you kind of have to like work around in this game, and that is one of them. But anyway, this room right here is the first upstairs room that we're working on. This is like the office space. I thought about making this into a kid's room, and then I was like, oh, well, there's 2 balconies in this room, and it's the only room upstairs that has balconies, so I don't really want it to be a kid's room. And then I kind of thought about it being a guest room, and I was like, well, that's still sad too. So I made it into like an office guest room combo. So they have their desk in there, but also a Murphy bed. So if you have guests over, they can sleep on that bed, but it's not always a bed. And then I kind of realized that it's almost like a death trap room because we have the Murphy bed. On one of the balconies, there's a fire pit, and on the other balcony, there's a telescope. So there are 3 3 ways to die in that very small space. I didn't do that on purpose, but just be warned if you play here, there are some dangerous things over there on that half of the building. This room we're doing right now is the primary bedroom, and this is the one that a lot of people in the chat thought was too dark. I'm sorry if you think it is. It definitely is dark, I can see that, but I kind of did it on purpose. I wanted it to be really dark. It's definitely not my personal style. Like, I wouldn't pick this probably in real life ever in a million years, but I do think that it fits with the vibe of the house and with like the vibe of the sim who probably lives here. In here, I gave them a vanity. They have this huge fireplace right in the middle. They've got a dresser. I put the fake hamper from the sleek bathroom kit. It's not a real hamper, it's a fake one. I saw some comments that were kind of disappointed in that hamper not being functional, but like I was just saying, I don't like the hampers that are functional. I actually like to avoid them. I use the fake base game hamper all the time for that reason. So personally, I am not mad that this hamper is not really a hamper, as in like you can't put laundry day clothes in it, because I would rather it be decorative sometimes. I think it's nice to have a mix of real ones and decorative ones. And also, if I was making a kit, I wouldn't touch laundry at all. Keep me away from that. Like, if I made this kit, I would have made it a fake hamper. So I'm on their side. I get it. This is the last room that we're doing. This is like the downstairs teen bedroom. And this one also is very dark. Again, not really my personal vibe, but this swatch of the bed from high school years is literally the exact color scheme of this house. I kind of forgot about this swatch, but it's perfect for this. Down to like the cream color of the outside, the black accents, it's got gold accents, it has those brown pillows, like it's literally the exact right swatch. So I used that in here. I also made this sim an artist, so they've got like an easel and some canvases and some cute clutter like that. They've got a desk with a computer. They have a clothing rack in here too. I used some of the clutter from my kit in here too, like the PC from my pack and the plant and stuff. And that just about covers the entire build. So what we're gonna do now is close out of this, and I wanna pop back into the game and give you a real-time tour, because it's kind of hard to follow when I'm speeding around like this, and I did cut a couple things out of this video. So as a quick refresher, we're building this on this penthouse lot that comes with Lovestruck. If you're looking for it on the gallery, I just called it the sleek penthouse to hopefully make it easy to find. And as you can see, so many packs. It also costs 122,000 simoleons, so this is a very pricey, both in real life and in The Sims kind of build. And this is what the outside looks like when you, no! No! It doesn't place my plants! I guess that makes sense. I bet it's viewing these plants as being off the lot because they're on the very edge. Well, you saw that I had these on there. It just didn't place off the gallery. I'm so sorry about that. But this is what it looks like when you first come in. So I'll give you kind of like a zoomed out view of the whole outside, then we can kind of look up close at stuff. So the main thing on the outside is this big patio area, and we have a huge pool. I intentionally, this too. This is a common glitch. It doesn't place your half wall trim correctly off the gallery either. That's not my fault. I promise it was there. It's a known bug. But I didn't put a pool ladder on purpose because it didn't really look cute. And you don't need pool ladders in The Sims 4, so I just didn't add one. But we've got a big dining table, there's some lounge chairs and a drink tray. We have this bar and grill, minus the pizza oven. And there's 2 ways to get inside. You can go through this door or this big door right here. I feel like it glitched the lighting when I placed this off the gallery. It wasn't doing this before in this room. It's probably because of this. The game looks like it thinks it's outdoor lighting inside, but anyway. This is the living room. So you're kind of facing this big TV with some cute clutter in the shelves. You can also go outside to this small little porch. I just have a chess table right here. It's nothing too fancy. Then we have the dining room in this area, and they have like a cute bar section on the wall. This is also a door to get out from. Do you need 2 doors? No, but we have them. And then through here, these are those cool dividers that I kind of made custom with the columns and everything. You can walk through that into like this piano entry room. There's just some art on the wall and a place to sit. You can also go outside from here to our secret garden. This has like kind of a cool glass roof as well. Plus these things count as being inside because they're covered. So these will grow in all seasons. They won't be affected by like it being the wrong season to grow your plants. This is the elevator your Sims are gonna spawn in. So if you've got guests, they're gonna spawn right here. And this flooring is the same color. It's just bugged with the lighting right now. I honestly think it's because of this. I'm not really sure why it's doing that, but you saw it was fine before, so my apologies. But through this archway, you get into the kitchen. I am obsessed with this tile. I think it's so nice. I also put the trash chute right here. Some people thought that was kind of weird. They were like, ew, smelly trash chute in your kitchen. I thought it was nice because your Sims are probably gonna mostly eat right here. This trash chute is like the equivalent of an outdoor trash can, but on an apartment. So if you put trash trash in there, it goes away forever. You don't have to like take the trash out or anything. So it's super nice to have easy access to it, even if maybe it's a little bit ugly. You also need to have one for it to count. Like it's one of the required lot objects. Further down this way, we have that hall bathroom, the first of many. I use different tile colors in all of the bathrooms in this house. And then we also have that little teens room that we just talked about. So this is the finished product of the teenager's bedroom. Now we're gonna go back this way and go up the stairs. So we have kind of a funky shaped giant hallway upstairs right here. First, we have this little bathroom in this area, and I did something kind of cool with this wall. This is like the new half wall item that comes in the pack. I used it as kind of like a little ledge. I like how it matched the bigger wall, and I just have some cute clutter on it. And then around this side, this is the primary bedroom. So they have a wonderful view of the pool and the city from in here. They have their vanity, their dresser, and then they have their ensuite bathroom. This one kind of has a lighter color scheme inside. So they have their big sinks. They have like a little toilet closet. We have a corner tub and also dual shower heads in this room. I kind of got carried away in here, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's also a really weirdly shaped bathroom, but I think that it worked out really well with all the extra stuff in it. It felt really big when I was building it, and then after it was finished, I was like, oh, it's actually perfect. It's like the perfect size. Back around this side, we have another one of the hall bathrooms. This one's kind of a weird like orange and black color. It kind of gives Halloween accidentally, but that's another hall bath. And then we have the guest bedroom office that I was telling you about. If you haven't seen this item, this is base game now. It came out like a week and a half ago in an SDX drop. So everybody has this. It's got like a bunch of different pride flag themed swatches on it, which is pretty cool. We got a whole bunch of things like that. There's some new pride flags, there's some new beds in the base game. So if you haven't seen those yet, go digging for them. I think you're gonna be kind of excited. This is the Murphy bed that I was telling you about. And then out here we have yoga, we have a telescope, and then out here we have a fire pit. So there is 3 different ways to die in this very small space, but lots of different skill stuff that you can use. And that's the full building. That is everything. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Like I said, I'm really proud of this. I think it turned out really cute and I'm excited about it. So thank you for watching. If you want to watch me build stuff like this live in the future, I'm gonna link my Twitch channel down below. I stream pretty much every day over on Twitch, just not today. I don't stream on Sundays. I always plug my Twitch on Sundays and I'm like, ooh, I'm live all the time except now. Any other time though, I'm live on Twitch and we have a lot of fun over there. But I will stop yapping now and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Of all the times to post my speed builds, Sundays, the one day